You did it.
Okay,
I saw the sign.
I did decide, and we're having such a great conversation. I figured we might as well get this on tape.
We got to capture our coolness.
Yeah. Oh, this is all gold.
It's golden.
See, I look at me and I look, oh my God, I look, weary.
No, you don't. You know what? I am going to make today a concentrated effort. I'm buying a gingham dress. We must match. I'm really torn up about the fact that I haven't done it yet.
This is so lazy. I just keep this shirt over there on a chair. I'm wearing, I'm wearing like a like a car cloth, the cloth you'd use to wax the car with. That's what I usually walk around with. And then we're going to do the show. At least I had the decency to put a shirt on, right?
Here's the thing. I think that's a great way of really showing the difference between men and women. You look great. If a guy throws on a collared shirt, fantastic. I'm always digging through my closet trying to, like, what would look good on the top part? Like, well, you can see through this, but I mean, it's such a fucking breakdown of what we wear versus you. And you guys always can pull it off, and it's really not
Well,
fair.
the bar is so low for a guy, right?
Right.
Kind of comb your hair.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't even have to shave anymore.
Oh, and
Now,
you could be bald. Bald became cool.
I try to keep my neck shaved and shave up here. It kind of looks like you're maintaining something.
Yes, I think the neck shave is a good, yeah.
Even if some guys aren't even shaving that anymore. It's like more of a statement than anything else.
Yeah, no, I've seen it.
Oh.
I'm very excited to hear what hi, I'm Melinda McKinsey.
And I'm Tom Wise.
Guess what we're doing today?
Hey, unpacking some shit.
Yeah, we
whose
are.
shit is this?
Whose shit is it?
Get it out of here. Get this shit out of here.
Whose shit do you want to unpack? What kind of stuff do you really want to dig into?
Let's figure out that conversation. I mean, I'm a wreck unless I get 8 hours. I can't believe you can operate on 5. I could operate on 5 for one day, then I'd completely have a shutdown.
It's interesting because it's really not my choice. I don't do it on purpose. This is why I stay up particularly late, because I don't like mornings. I'm not a morning person. And if I have to work early in the morning, I'll go and take a nap later because I don't feel right. But more than 5 hours of sleep, I just wake up or I don't feel right. I feel weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, if I have to get up at 7 or 6 for a show or something, the rest of the day is wrecked. The rest of the day I'm in bed. I'll sleep till 2.
Yeah. I'm the same way.
Work for 8 minutes, go back to bed.
Have you varied as like from your teen years to your 20s and 30s? Have you varied what kind of like sleep you do require?
It's always been 8.
Oh.
8. It's funny. I in a dream world, I would go to bed at 10 and then
Okay.
get up at 6. That's a dream. The reality is go to bed at 1, get up at 9.
Okay, but here's the thing. Why is society telling us what are the good hours? I think you are what you are.
I don't disagree with that. However, I really shouldn't be living in Florida. I don't like the heat. It's going to be 93 today. And those few days, and the only hours that you can actually get something done outside around Florida is 6:30, 6:45 until
Yes.
9:45 when it starts getting too hot. So that would be such a nice golden 2 hours of, yard work, and before it's 100 degrees that I would enjoy.
Yes.
I get up at 9 o'clock. I stagger outside to feed the cats. The sun is already out. The horses are already upset, and it's so hot out.
But the great thing about Florida is you're coming up on the best months ever.
Yes.
The fall and the winter. I remember when I lived in Florida, I would forget and someone would say, "Oh, it's snowing." And I'm like, is it that time of year already? Because in Florida, you have no concept. And now I've been in New York 8 years now. And I will tell you, I really enjoy the seasons. It's been mid 60s at night. And I'm sitting on the porch going, this is nice.
What September used to offer relief when I was down here 30 years ago, when I first started living here. It used to be September, you're turning the corner. And then October, now the corner does not get turned until into October.
Well, it's especially hot. I did see that in California, it's like 110 degrees today. And I will tell you, this conversation is perfect because I was having a conversation with my sister last night, and we were talking about as we age. And I said, I've realized what kind of old person I'm going to be. I thought I would be the old person that would, I thought I would be the kind that would just like curse at people and be that. Guess what kind of old person I am?
A lot of head nodding. Oh, look at that. You turn into a Southern woman. Oh, isn't that, what do they say? Isn't that sweet? Or bless
Oh,
her heart.
bless her heart. Bless her heart. No, I'm the senior citizen who is obsessed with the weather. I talk about it all the time. I look it up, and here's how I realized it was my obsession, because I'm constantly telling my daughter, "Oh, it's going to be in the 60s. It's a great porch night," and she smirked at me, and I thought, "Oh Lord, I've done it." And so I noticed when I was talking to my sister, I always tie the weather.
It's funny because my attitude is dictated by the weather. If I know it's going to be low of 84, I'm
Uh,
having a bad day.
okay,
It's so glorious when the weather finally dips below 70, and that's not going to happen until the middle of October.
but you share it with people. I have the need to tell people what the weather is.
I've got no one to talk to. It's just me. The dog's dead. My roommate moved out. I'm like talking to strangers at the public. Hey, did you see the weather?
Yeah, so I'm that person. I'm
Talking.
fully.
Don't look, miss. The daughter is telling the mom is telling the, don't look at him directly. Just keep walking. The weather though. The
Let me
weather.
tell you. Well, I will say doing our show 3 days a week has really helped my mental health, because it's given me something to look forward to, things to focus on and consider. Because even though I am working from home, my work time is very narrow during the day.
Yes.
And so, and this week I'm only doing 2 shows this week, so I've got a lot of downtime, and I need something productive, because as
Right.
I also acknowledge with my sister, I need accountability. We both decided we've had it with our bodies, and that is it, and we are going to start working out, because we both just
Really.
so we decided to be accountability partners. So it starts tomorrow, Tuesday.
The best exercise programs always start tomorrow.
Well, here's the thing, because I'm really unrealistic. I said, let's start it now. And she said, it's a holiday weekend. I know I'm not going to do it. And I said, this is the difference between my sister and I. She's the realist. I'm like, no, let's just try it.
Does the Bible say know thyself? Is it, or to thine own self be true? What's that from? Oh, that's
I know self be true is a
oh
sonnet.
oh no, that's Shakespeare.
Yes,
Hamlet.
it's a
That's
sonnet.
Ophelia's dad talking to
Yeah.
Hamlet. I
And
think
look at you. You're so classy, and you've got no one to talk to. You've got all this Shakespearean knowledge to share with people.
I've never read a book in my life.
We
No.
got to get you out there.
That was one of my favorite classes in high school. I was forced to take, probably one of the last books I read was Shakespeare. Fat Jack Nelson. This guy was huge. He was 400 pounds,
Oh, goodness.
but he loved Shakespeare. And I took the Shakespeare class as an elective, and we tore into like 12 different books. And he was such a scholar on Shakespeare. We
Oh,
learned all the dirty language and all the
yeah.
interesting little twists and turns, like get thee to a nunnery. When
Yes.
Shakespeare, when Hamlet says that to Ophelia, he's not saying go to a
No.
nun house, right?
Right.
Then go to a whorehouse. So,
Right.
wow, we were very, very
Oh,
excited about that.
so exciting. When I was in my 30s, I did a lot of live theater, and up and through my 40s, and I did a lot of Shakespearean shows. And I will say, it's the hardest stuff I've ever done to memorize those kind of scripts. I don't think I could do it today, because you have to say words that you don't understand and make them
Right.
make sense. So,
It's brilliant.
yeah.
It's so hard. If you've ever done a play, I mean, I've been in a couple of plays, and I'm horrible. I'm absolutely horrible at it. I'm so worried about this, that, the other thing. And to see somebody who really acts like Patrick Stewart when he's doing the
Yeah.
Shakespeare or something, it's like, my God, this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Some of the coolest people I ever met was when I was doing live theater, because they're so invested in, and I always was nervous. I was always concerned that I would forget something. But once you start doing a show a lot and you're with the same cast, you actually start having a lot of fun with it, because you start playing pranks on each other, just like we do in live TV.
Yeah, but no, the cast would be in a panic when I would walk on, because it's like, where's this drunk driver going next? Forgetting lines, missing my cues. Forget about acting. I'm just trying to regurgitate lines.
It's what, live theater is very difficult, but it's really probably some of the most
I,
fun
I,
I've
I think though that it could have been fun had I tried
ever.
it a bit longer. I mean, it's crazy. You rehearse 8 weeks to do 2 weekends of,
Yeah,
so you do 6 shows. And yeah, I had I had some meaty scenes that I just did, I just skimmed the top off of, where I was, you know, I'm drunk and I'm making fun of the president and I'm doing something sexual with a jigger of, spritzing water.
Right,
It's
right.
like, and I would just do it very, by the book. It's like, and finally the director says, have a little fun here, my friend. You're the comic relief in this scene.
Enjoy it, right?
Yeah, let's go. Can you find a gear here?
You know what? The most fun I ever had doing live theater was I did Up the Down Staircase, and it's a show where the actors play actors, and so you're on stage the whole time. You never walk off, and so
Wow.
it was a rotating stage. So when you're playing the actor as the person getting ready to act, you would still be talking, but the stage would rotate. So you never had the break of like, hey, what's going on? And I was like in my late 40s, and I was playing the ingenue, which was really shocking to me. I hadn't really played.
And the audience.
And well, so here's the thing. In most of the show, I was in my underwear, just bra and underwear, and running around and doing these gags because I was the dumb actress, right? I was the dumb, sex bomb, whatever. So the funniest thing that happened, because it was a great show, everybody was so talented. When the shows are over, the actors will come out and people will come and talk to you, right?
Sure.
Because so the woman who played the antagonist, she was not a great person. She was not a great actress, but she had a great meaty part. And there were times, you do pratfalls and stuff. You're not supposed to hurt people. You
Right.
just pretend. She would literally hurt us on stage, and people were, we were, as the actors, were mad at her. But when the people would come to speak to us, they, oh, you're amazing, right? They thought she was really bawdy and funny. Most of the people, when they'd come to me, I would put a robe on, so I wouldn't be standing there in my underwear. They would come to me and they would kind of go, because they really thought I was stupid because my character was stupid. And I was like, I guess it's a compliment, but at the same time, you recognize if I was stupid, I wouldn't have been able to pull that
Right.
off.
Absolutely. No. Those are the hardest things, is to pretend to be somebody that you're completely not. It's funny. I was listening to one of the actors on The Office being interviewed, and I'm like, he doesn't sound like his character at all. Well, no shit. He's an actor.
I'll make that mistake, though. We really do.
Absolutely. And then some actors get credit for being smarter or wittier or more charming than they really are, because they're given beautiful language to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we
Well,
should, what? When we retire, Tom, we should open a little theater company and start doing live plays. I think that'd be so much fun.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah. That's always been my back in my mind dream. I always, even as like a teenager, I always thought one day when I'm older and I have a ton of money, because I always planned on having a ton of money, I was going to buy a theater and just have live theater. And you could do like stand up on the weekends, or you know what I mean? That would be my dream life, honestly, owning a theater, having like theater people around to like talk to and learn from, and then having artists come in and do revolving shows.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
Would that be a New York thing or a Florida thing?
Well, I think it should travel. I think if you start at New York, it gets more buzz when it goes to Florida, and then you can hit when all the tourists are in Florida, right?
It's all about the weather.
It really is.
We're going down to Florida in January.
It's always about the weather.
We're taking this thing on the road.
It really is. All right, what's your favorite topic? What would you like to dig up?
Well, I have one that's been sitting around for a bit,
Yes.
and it's biggest breaks.
Oh, yes. Yes. Share. Do you have a story?
Yeah. Do you want to give your topic?
I mean, do you want me to talk about biggest breaks or share my topics?
I'll do my biggest breaks.
Okay, go.
So I think that everybody has in your life, somebody helps you, that if they don't help you, they don't owe you one. It's just flat out help.
Yeah.
That you've not done anything for them in the past. I'm thinking particularly in work situations where you apply for a job where you've got, all you have is your resume and your wits to get the job. And the person on the other side doesn't owe you anything. They're looking to fill something. They need somebody,
Yes.
maybe or maybe not. And, and they just determined to give you that break. They know that they've got a golden ticket where you're going to change this person's life if you give them this golden ticket. But, all you're going to get in return is the personnel department is going to say, finally, you fill that spot,
Yeah.
or, you're going to, or sometimes you don't even get that. You just get the
Right.
satisfaction of, giving somebody a boost. So I always think about two people in particular. Well, maybe three.
Okay.
I think of the guy that hired me at Home Shopping.
Okay. Yeah.
When I hired, and he's just looking to fill a spot, but he really changed my life by deciding to let me, give me a chance.
Yes.
And then that's Jim Bretcher, who nobody knows what happened to him. They suspect that he went back to academia and it was a teacher somewhere at USF, but nobody really knows for sure.
Okay.
Can't find him on Facebook. He's
Good for
missing in
him.
action. Yeah. I mean, but he was an early person in the home shopping business, like in 80, I think he was probably there in 84, 85, something like that. He
Nice.
was the vice president of about 16 departments when
Wow.
I talked to him. It was crazy. When I think about that, that whole place was crazy. No real, Harvard, Yale types running the business. No MBA. There wasn't an MBA in the building.
Right.
It was guys that were, I think Jim was a lawyer, but wasn't lawyering at the time. And,
Uh-huh.
it was like they had a rotation of everybody who was going to be in charge of the hosts. It was like people would last 6 months till Roy Spear would fire you, but he wouldn't kick you. He wouldn't kick you out of the building. He'd just give you a different job. And then the next guy would come up and he'd get about 6 months and then he was out, but we're going to put you in charge of something else.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then Bob Burr gave me a spot when I just asked for the spot to do a stand-up comedy at Snappers. He didn't know me from anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
It's a holiday. This should not be happening. What did you touch?
I didn't touch anything.
That's what you all say.
I'm going to put a camera on this to show you that I'm not doing anything. I hope to God that the audio is still working, or we're going to,
Oh, that's right. We're going to find out if the audio's working or not. All right.
Yeah, so Bob gave me an opportunity. It was kind of a funny happenstance. I had been taking a comedy class down at McCurdy's Theater. And then, for graduation, you go up and you do 5 minutes
Yes.
in front of a very soft audience. It's all friends and neighbors of the other 10 people taking the class. And you almost had 150 people there.
Nice.
And so they're going to laugh at anything. But then I went to a comedy show about 3 weeks later, and I had nowhere to go with my skill set. I mean, I vaguely could figure out about open mics, but you go to a couple of open mics and it's 3 people there, and 2 of them are comics. Like, this is not very conducive to new material or getting a response from what you read or anything. So you need to get in front of the live people to get a read on your stuff.
Yes.
And before the show, I talked to Bob Burr. I didn't know who he was, and he was the manager over at Snappers. And I said, "Hey, I'd love to come up and do so." "Oh, no, there's nothing. Who are you? Where are you from? Where are you? Anybody recommending you?"
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of know this, know that. And he's like, He goes, "Well, maybe you come on a Wednesday and you'll do your show for me. And then I'll determine whether you can do an open mic." Because you're up in front of paying people. They get 150 people
Yeah.
over at Side Splitters. I mean, at Snappers. And I said, "Sure, whatever." I was extremely nervous.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, 10 years of live TV means nothing when it comes time to do any of that stuff. And then after we were done, I kind of lagged behind and was looking at after the show was over, looking at the pictures on the wall. And as I'm milling out, Bob calls me over and goes, "You know what? Forget about Wednesday. Just come on up Friday and do 3 minutes. We'll bring you up as a guest spot." And I didn't even know what the hell that meant. Guest spot Friday. Sure.
Yeah.
You'll go on at 7:30 and, you'll be up for 3 minutes. So then I bring everybody I know. There's
Yes.
16 people in the audience that I brought. I mean, the place is packed, 16 of which are mine. And Bob comes up to me and says, "Hey, well done, bringing all these people." He goes, "You go ahead and do 5 minutes." I go, "No, I could just
I'm
do
not
the
ready.
3. I'll just do the 3."
I'm not ready.
Yeah, but no. So Bob gave me a big break. Had I not that I've accomplished anything in comedy, but Bob gave me the break that allowed me to get a little bit of a foothold in getting in to do live in front of an audience rather than just open mics. Then with that confidence, I got on over at Side Splitters. I got in a couple of contests, and then you end up emceeing. I emceed over at Side Splitters, emceed over at Snappers, So it was that little bit of a little foothold that I got from Bob. And Bob could have said no. He got nothing from it. It was just, let's give this guy a chance.
Right. No, I love that. I think it's really important to support people, but in live comedy, it's tough because he didn't know if you were any good or not. he would have taken a lot of heat.
You know, you give me the early show and you're up early and the MC's decent. You know, they can absorb 3 minutes of some jackass. His only risk is if I won't get off the stage after
Right.
3, you know? That's
Right.
his real risk. I mean, anybody could shit the bed 3 minutes, you know, the next guy comes up and you forget all about it.
Well,
I
you know,
do.
when I first
Go ahead. What?
when I first moved to New York, in Williamsburg, there was a place called the Knitting Factory. It was like a bar, and this was like 8 years ago, right? And it's like a really trendy place. I was much too old to go there, but I wanted to check it out. Here's what happened at the Knitting Factory: a lot of really well-known comics would show up to try out their stuff. So it would just blow you. It wasn't known like the Comedy Cellar or one of those places, was off the beaten path in Williamsburg. So Hannibal Buress was the host of all the shows, and he was there talking to everybody like all casual. And that's when I first met Michael Che. Michael Che did,
Saturday Night Live.
yes, and I had a friend with me, and I remember we went up to Michael and said, wow, you could just tell he had something, right? There
Yeah.
are certain people you could tell. We went up, we were thanking him and saying how great it was. So it was so cool to see him end up on Saturday Night Live, because a lot of people in comedy that are so super talented, it's a tough life to be a comedian.
You need a break.
You need a break, and you need lots of them, because it's such like a,
Oh. Well, you know, you go to a comedy show, I'm sure in New York more than anywhere else in the world, and any Friday or Saturday night, the headliner is going to be hilarious.
yeah,
Hilarious. You're
yeah.
going to be dying, you're going to be rolling 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100. You know, these guys are pros, and they could have been writers on SNL or on SNL, right?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. So, I think stand-up comedy was the hardest thing I ever did. And I didn't stick with it like you did, but I'll tell you the main reason, other than the fact that I had to make a living, was because I didn't think I could make a living at it, because I started so late.
Oh,
And
it's so
because
impossible.
honestly, well, as a woman, the environment wasn't that great for me, I have to say, because I was doing shows at like 2 o'clock in the morning, getting home at 3 o'clock. I was one of the few females out there, and it was just a lot of dick jokes and a lot of really, you weren't treated with a lot of respect, and you just had to take it. It wasn't like you could say anything about it. You know what I mean? You had to, oh, good Lord. Are you doing that because I'm talking about myself now? So you're just going to leave?
Hey, I'm just going to go get something to eat, okay? Just let me fire a gun or something when you're ready, when you're done talking. Oh
So
my gosh. Yeah.
I'm so glad that you stuck with it, because you're having so much fun and you're meeting like the coolest people.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm supposed to work this weekend at Side Splitters, I think. I don't know. I mean, I I feel so badly. Uh, Way back before COVID, I asked the owner if we could dial in a charity event for. I was asked to sit on a board, and he said sure. And he gives us a date, and then it's the middle of July. It's like everybody's nervous about doing anything, especially with old. It's like to sponsor old people. And
Yeah.
so we said, can we move the date? And he goes, yeah, let's go September 13th. So the week came, and I circled back to the gal in charge of the charity. She goes, oh, well, we haven't done anything about that. We're still sitting on our hands with the COVID. I said, well, we kind of have a soft booking for the 13th, which is coming up next week.
Yeah.
And then she asked to move it, and I emailed the owner, and like I haven't had a response yet. So
I
I
am
may or
seeing
may not be working. What's that?
in New York, they are doing outdoor comedy. Like, people are, so they're trying, because I get it. And you know this from doing stand up. You really never know how your set's going to go until you do it. That's the scariest part. Like, you have it in your head. It depends on the audience and the time of night, and, who's before you, who's after you. So it's comedians need to keep working to feel what they're,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it's funny because in some places, like in Houston, they've got comedy clubs, and even down here, I mean, Side Splitters is open for half capacity, masks on
Oh,
until you sit down, and then
oh,
you're able to whatever. And it seems to be working. And I mean, I went there in June. He asked me to come up and do a set in June as
okay.
the second week that they just opened. So
Right.
I said, sure, I'll do that. And I had a mask on up until I went on, and had a mask when I got off. But it's funny, you kind of feel like the energy isn't in the room. People are kind of sitting on their hands a little bit.
Yeah.
And I And I tried a new joke, which I had never performed in front of anybody. I don't know what I was thinking. I was so excited about the joke that I may even close with this. Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was horrible.
It's a tough way to start a new joke when you're in COVID half capacity. All
Ugh.
well, you know
Thank
what?
God I didn't close with it. Thank God I was able. I apologized and I moved on to my two closers, and then we left it with a laugh. But
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. I think that's the best thing you could do when you do stand up is acknowledge it. If something isn't working in a funny
Mm,
way,
mm, mm.
because people want you to own your shit,
Of
right?
course, and and they want you to take a risk as long as it's an intelligent risk. I always felt that even if I'm horrible, it's not for the lack of effort. If you're horrible because you're just getting up there and winging it, then you're horrible and you're wasting everyone's time, and they don't respect
Right.
that. But I think if you're horrible and it's not just gross material,
Right.
I mean,
Agree.
I saw this guy do just gross material one time. I said,
Yeah.
and then and then nobody's laughing. Well, they shouldn't laugh. That material is gross. It was
Yeah.
bad, sex, gross material.
Right.
And he had like mental problems or something.
Yeah. I
And-
think, yeah, that happens.
yeah,
That
and then
happens
I
too.
I found out. I found out 4 weeks later, he told some club owner that Tom would recommend me. Tom would sign off. No, Tom will not sign off on that.
You know how many open mics I went to here in the city where guys would stand at the mic and go, "Oh wait,
Ugh.
I'm not sure. I didn't really prepare." I'm like, then
Get next.
why are you there? Oh, that was excruciating.
It's brutal because that time is so valuable, and you're up there scratching your ass, thinking, well, let me see if I got one more. If you do, you're just done. You're just done.
A lot of people don't realize that with stand up. I do feel like when people go to a comedy club, they expect to laugh, they expect to have a good time, they don't expect to participate unless the comedian says, "You in the front row, you're going to be a part of it." So when you go expecting to have a great time and someone is just really crass or not funny, then it's even a bigger, you can feel the air get sucked out of the room. It's a terrible feeling. I've been to those shows before. Nope, nobody wants that.
This guy, the guy with the crass material, something about women with two vaginas. It's like, where are you going with any of this? It
Oh
was
man,
just
just tell your
bizarre.
therapist,
And
dude.
he's got his army fatigues on. Needs a haircut. Kind of maybe
Uh,
needs a shave. Like, mm, this is rough.
yeah.
So, what was your
Yeah.
topic, darling?
Okay, so I have reality check, um accountability, and behind the scenes.
Well, we didn't do behind the scenes last time. Is it too much home shopping talk, or are we going forward?
I have dirt on everybody.
Let's go. Let's do behind the scenes. We're almost done with our show anyway.
Are we? Okay. Well, you and I have talked about the fact that I know that HSN does not want to have a reality show because there's too much stuff they don't want people to know and how this works. And I don't know, as a man, if you've had this, if it's just a female thing. A lot of times when I was still at HSN, I would have people out in the real world, the non-TV world, say, I want to do what you do. Can I tell me who to call? And I will be honest with you, I always found it a little bit insulting, thinking that just because you want to do something, I want to do a lot of things, but if you don't put the time or the training into it, you don't just go on TV, right? So when you're behind the scenes, after you've been on TV for a while, a lot of things happen because people get relaxed, people tell stories, right?
Yes.
So one of the biggest things that happened to me at HSN, and it's not about having sex with anybody, because I will say I drew the line. I wouldn't have sex with anybody at HSN. I take that back. I take that back.
Andrew Lessman.
Someone was on their way out the door, so I actually did have a brief little encounter with someone that left. But
Guy Yovan.
no, and Guy is still there.
But he came back. He left and came back.
Oh, that's right. I did forget about that. Yeah, no. So anyway,
How convenient.
for the most part, I wouldn't have sex with anybody because you and I have talked about this. It works against you. At first it'd be great because if you're with someone in production, they'll give you all the airtime, but eventually when it goes sour, you're ruined, right? So I've had bad things, but I'll share this quick one. This is a host and I'm not going to give the name, but
Callie Northagen, go on.
no, it wasn't Callie. I hadn't worked with this host before. And so I just started in crafts. I had done beauty, I'd done electronics. They were kind of moving me around as the catch-all girl. And it was allowed at that time.
We call that fluffer now. Go on.
I was the flipper. And so I was selling an electronic, Conair electric razor.
Okay.
And so, we meet the host, right? We meet with the host. So we go over stuff. I mean, if you're lucky, it's a great meeting because if you've not sold with them before, which I hadn't with this host, you need to have a connection. So I was told, oh, she's on this set doing this. Go in there. Now, anybody that knows me knows, and I'd been at HSN for a few years, I'm the same off camera as I am on camera. I don't have an on camera personality. What?
You're like Jerry Lewis. Go on.
I'm a little bit of a rambler. So I have my product, first time ever. I've been working for Conair. It's a big deal. The vendors were always there in those days watching you, right? So I go to meet this host and she's on set, prepping whatever. And I go up. She looks at me. I walk across. Hi, I'm Melinda. I've got the razor. And I had maybe talked 10 seconds. And she looks at me and she goes like this. She goes, so I stopped talking because I feel like someone just slapped me in the face. And I look at her and she says, with disdain in her voice, her jaw was very tight. Because I was like, oh, I've got the Conair thing. And here's what we're going to do. Because I had a whole trick of how I was going to put it in a bowl and do it. Anyway, she goes like this. So I stopped talking. Unbeknownst to me, someone in production was watching because they told me later, oh, I should have told you she could be like that. When I stopped talking, she goes like this. She says, say 3 things and then leave. So I'm trying to think of 3 things that I don't even remember what I said. I said them.
That's
I walked
insane.
away. I walked away and I was ashamed. Why should I be ashamed? She was rude. So then I'm thinking my vendors are here. It's going to be a terrible show. Clearly she doesn't like me. I don't like her now. So we go to do the show. And I'm thinking, you know what? She's a well-known host. She has great numbers. Even if I say nothing, at least the product will do well. I'll try to get in because the vendors always have rules about say this 3 times. They have all their weird stuff, right? Which is never right. So I stand there. She probably talks and we're both on camera. First it's her, and I'm just waiting. It's very uncomfortable. She's talking, waiting. So in my head, I'm making up all these stories like, well, it's the best I can do. Like I'll just keep smiling and maybe I can say one thing. Here's what I did. So she's talking. I don't know what her long-term plan was, but she took a breath and she went. So I took that moment when she took a breath to jump in because she'd been talking 4 or 5 minutes. And I said, the funny thing about this razor is, and she looked at her eyes, like she kept smiling, but her eyes, she looked at me like, you're fucking dead meat, bitch. I didn't say that you could talk. She just glared at me, but she kept smiling. And I told a joke about being hairy because I've always been a jokester. Here's what happened. Because I told a joke about being hairy, she didn't expect it. She laughed. She tried to stop her laugh, but she couldn't. And then the producer said, run with that. The numbers are going up. Run with that. So this host, who I very carefully have not said her name, had to go with my joke, even though she didn't like it. We sold, let me make sure I get something like, it was incredible amount, something like 12,000
What?
razors.
Oh.
Because she laughed, she's one of those hosts, she can say, here is a paper bag. My God, I must have the paper bag she's talking about. You know what I mean?
Helen Keeney,
after the show was over, I left. She had other shows. And then I heard that she requested she never work with me again. And we never did. In my 10 years, I was at HSN 10 years, I never worked with her again.
Wow. Is she still working there now?
Yes. I'm not going to say her name.
Oh, please don't.
We shall not speak of her name.
That's crazy. It's funny. I've run into so many prima donnas over the years. It's insane.
It was unnecessary. If you thought I was rambling or I stressed you out, just be like, hey, relax, Melinda. I wasn't nervous. I was just being me. And, I thought it was unnecessary.
Of course, we talked about Johnny Carson, right, in the last week. And one of the key things, and I was talking to Colleen Lopez, who I respect as a very big
She's been there a long time, right?
salesperson. Absolutely, probably their top salesperson.
Okay.
And we had like 2 minutes while we were transitioning to the next item. They were doing a breaks and whatever, and I was going to go sell the Roomba or something with Colleen.
Right.
And I kind of know her, and we're not close friends, but we've gone to parties together and we've talked, and I've met her husband. Everybody's very nice.
Yeah.
And I said, Colleen, what do you think the key to your success is here? I mean, you're clearly the number one. And she's always very kind and shy. She goes, well, I try to think about making the guest and the product, number one, and it's not about me. And that's the same philosophy Johnny Carson had. He goes, this is not about me. My job is to make you look good, right? And
Yes.
a smart host, their job is to make you look good, you the expert, you and the product to succeed, not about them. So anybody thinking it's all about them you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was unfortunate. And I've had a couple run-ins with the host, one with the male host. He was insulted. I was brand new to HSN and I didn't know who he was. And he got offended because I didn't know who he was.
Please.
And I had the TSV that day. I had a card kit. And you know how TSV days are. You're very stressed.
Yeah.
And he came up and started asking me questions. And I said, I'm waiting on the host.
Please. Did you ask him, do you know who I am?
He's not there anymore either, but yeah.
Really?
So, when we do the next show, I really want to hear, you've got to have some horror stories. I have a million beautiful, lovely stories, but I definitely have horror stories as well.
All right. It's a date. We're going to wrap up. This is Memorial Day, right?
Today is.
Oh, no.
It's
Today's Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Labor Day. Today's Labor Day. Oh, they're very good.
Yeah.
It's nice. Here's a legitimate 3-day weekend, Labor Day.
Yeah.
Many people, take Memorial Day or something, but it really should be more of an homage. But Labor Day, yeah, take a day off on us. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. And then, by the way, no Don Davis today, if you haven't noticed, but Don's going to circle back on Friday.
Friday. Okay, great.
Yeah, we forgot it was Labor Day when we scheduled it for today.
Yeah. That's what happens. I mean, it's COVID. All the days are a blur. Right now. All the days are a blur. I honestly thought today was Sunday. And when I looked at my phone this morning, it said Monday. And I was like, well, that's wrong.
What other mistakes has this phone made? All right. Well, we'll be back on Wednesday, although it could be a travel day. And then
we'll see what happens.
We'll have to disappoint the 12 people downloading the show.
Absolutely.
And my name's Tom Wise.
And I'm Melinda McKinsey. And thanks for unpacking your shit with us.
Very good. Have a good rest of the day.